Hello, everybody. It looks like we're going live, and I am sharing into the Star Tribes of Light group right now. Hello, Linda. Thank you for joining us. We're a couple of minutes past the 1:45, but thank you so much for waiting patiently. Love you, love you, love you. And with me today, I have the most beautiful, the most glorious Niomi Stella Rose.
Hello. Glorious, thank you.
Niomi, we decided to come on last minute to have this sister talk. I know we only did one a week ago, but this is for a really important cause that we'll get to in a moment. But for anybody who has never seen you before or experienced the beauty of all that is you, would you mind just introducing yourself to everybody?
Of course. Yeah, I'm Niomi. I am from Wales and I live in the north of Sweden, and I have been here for the past 10 years. I know Mary Catherine because I did her light language level 1 and 2 course over a year ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was very transformational for me. And I kind of parallel with that, it transformed and ignited a big fire in me, mainly around my intuitive and psychic gifts, and it's very well tied in with cacao medicine. And that's how I know Linda as well. She's here watching, and she is a sister that, a blood sister from many lifetimes. And yeah, what I want to share today is a lot about the heart-opening medicine of cacao spirit, and just how she's affected me and how it weaves together with light language so beautifully. It's very, I don't think everyone is aware of how beautifully they are connected. And Linda has this experience as well.
And you're a female.
It's like a marriage.
And I was just going to say, so everybody can know and connect with you, you're a female embodiment coach, and you dance Kundalini. What is that again? Can you go into that as well, so others get a sense of what other offerings you do as well?
Yeah, of course. I'm a feminine embodiment coach, so a lot of my teachings are based in Tantra and Taoist teachings around movement and how we can use movement to just feel more alive and activate our life force energy. Because for many years I was just solely in the stillness practices. I was brought up with Vipassana meditation. My mum is a Buddhist nun, so I was, very into those more masculine practices, which are very important. But now I am such a big advocate for the feminine practices. So yeah, using movement, using awareness, using the breath to just activate our life force energy.
And I love that about your work, because it's so embodied. And as we'll get to in a moment, cacao is another form of embodiment via plant medicine, you could say, as well. And one of the things that you're joining me with, actually, Niomi, next week, I think, isn't it, at this stage, is the light language initiation. You're co-hosting that with myself, the sacred dance, almost like the temple dances, and bringing in the Kundalini activations with that. So I want to thank you, and I cannot wait for that. And you girls are up for so much beautiful energy in that as well. Let's get to the beauty of why we're here, and why Linda is here, because she was part of last night. We held the equinox transmission, and we give all proceeds are going to help your friend Joanna, Niomi, isn't it? And that's why we are hosting this and sharing about your cacao ceremony as well. Can you tell everybody about Joanna and what it is the sister call out has been and how we're answering it?
Yes, absolutely. So she is a beautiful Polish woman that I used to live with many years ago. We lived together in Italy. And so she's a dear friend, and I have visited her in her little apartment in Warsaw. So it's very, it's such a direct link. When she told me that she has refugees living in her apartment. You know, I've been to apartment, it's a very small space. So it was like I was there and I could experience that. You know, obviously I also went there with my mind and I could really feel that it's like quite a challenging experience, not just for her and, you know, the refugees, of course, but everyone in that situation. It was hard for me to actually to imagine, you know, if I was seeing refugees just walking outside my house and then inviting them into my home indefinitely, and how would that be for me and for them, and, you know, just humans living together. It's a lot. So when she was describing, you know, not just her situation, but how when she leaves the house to go to the shop to buy food, you know, she's walking past, you know, 10, 20 people just sleeping on the streets, or people wandering around, you know, traumatized. So, and this is in a European capital city. It's not that far from me. You know, I live in Sweden. So it was, yeah, it just ignited this, yeah, I guess compassion, and also that, I had to do something to help her. So, and I could have just sent her, you know, a little bit of money that I could afford in, you know, this month. But then I thought every month I have a cacao ceremony. Sometimes I have two, depending on the month. Sometimes I co-create with a sister, and I'm co-creating next month on the 6th of April with Linda, who's here. And I usually, my last ceremony, I had 17 sisters. Some were live, some bought the replay, and each sister paid £50, and that's a big chunk of money. And usually that goes towards my own children, paying for their food, just like anyone else's income. I have bills and children to pay for, but my children have a roof over their heads, and not traumatized. So I was thinking, hang on, you know, maybe I could do another one this month, because I already did one this month. I can do another one this month, and if I can raise a similar amount of money, I could send that to her, and she would be using that money for the refugees that are living with her. There's 2 refugees living with her right now. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. And also specifically, she had a request that she wants to help children. She sees a lot of children just sleeping, you know, with their parents, but sleeping on the street or on park benches, and still a little bit cold, you know, in Warsaw. So she was going to buy blankets and food. So yeah, and she also described to me how she's been to the borders, and that there were very long lines, like over a day, people are standing and waiting, including children. So she was going to go there. She's been there twice already, and she's going to go again soon, to just support in the best way possible, usually with clothing, food, blankets. Yeah, so I've already raised over €600 for this ceremony that's on Thursday, and I'm hoping that more will join. We had a huge turnout yesterday with a lot of generous souls, and that was incredible. Also really beautiful co-creation from the sisters. You know, it really felt so much heart energy. It was beautiful. I was quite overwhelmed actually, at just the amount of, you know, open-heartedness. It's very, very beautiful to even witness and feel. Yeah. So yeah, that's that was my main motivation. And obviously I, you know, have a huge heart connection with my friend Joanna. You know, she's just another sister like me. We're the same age, and yeah, I just wanted to support her in what she's doing as well, but also as a friend.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the most important things, that we're coming together right now in this way, is that we're here supporting each other. And those of you watching, this is what we're putting the call out to you, just like Joanna put the call out to Niomi, and Niomi put the call into our Star Tribes group. And this is us co-creating and sending the call out, so that we're able to help, that we're able to be of service and in service. And just like that, we open our own hearts. We're in that way. I could feel it yesterday morning, Niomi, tapping in. I was crying on the live, you know, telling everybody to join your ceremony, to join last night's event. And we have over 600 euros from last night's event. So we're over 1,000 right now, Niomi, that we are sending on. And we would love to bring in more. And every little helps. Every little helps. And today what we are going to talk about is cacao, because this is what you now have as the next event, is the Ecstatic Cacao Ceremony that Niomi is co-creating in a triad, a beautiful triad that I just get excited saying out loud because I know the power of the triad. And as I'm saying that, I can see loads of turmeric on my hands. Can you see that?
Yeah. I was wondering what that was. I was like, what's she been doing this morning?
I was cleaning the countertop from last night today. I just realized it doesn't wash off that easy.
Yeah, it stains. Yeah,
another version of a plant medicine, is it not? Like, it's a super
definitely
powerful, perhaps there to kind of tease us a little into what we're going to talk about next, which is the cacao.
Yeah,
it's a hard one.
I add turmeric every day to my cacao. It's like my staple ingredient.
Ah, no way. Okay, so you actually add turmeric into the cacao. And what kind of, that's a co-creation, what does richness does that bring to it for you?
Well, for me, the turmeric is very, very sacred because it reminds me of my childhood. So my mum used to, she's from Sri Lanka, and she would add turmeric into everything, every single thing. Places where you would not expect it, like, you know, she would have a grapefruit or an orange and sprinkle turmeric on top. So, you know, it's like she would say it was sacred. You know, this is something that you need, you can't have too much of, almost. So I learned a lot of my wisdom about herbs and spices and plant medicine to do with just everyday plants, you know, like carrots and celery, from my mother. And she's actually a gynecologist, but with a deep respect and reverence for plant medicine, as in that each plant from Mother Nature has its own frequency and has its own healing properties. So we know that. And when we're with just general vegetables and fruits, but it's also with every single gift from Mother Nature, from the earth, including cacao.
It's so true when you say that. And it's something I became really aware of a couple of years ago, kind of when I started out on my journey. And I had a vision, I suppose, of a parallel timeline or past timeline of being in the jungles and the forests and working only with these types of herbs and spices and activating their properties even more. And that we're in the process of doing that in cacao, right? You're doing that in a ceremony, you're activating it, you're drawing it in, because it's its own spirit, like you said. It's a communion. Yeah, it's just, you're bringing that memory back to me of how it's nothing that we have to learn. It's actually in us.
Yeah, it's a remembrance.
It's a remembrance. It's a union of remembrance. It's a union of communion with nature that is us. We are that. We're made from that same dirt. We're made from that same water. We're made from that same breath, the air. And I love how we're all connected in that way. I'm saying that now, my feet are tingling. Tingling in my feet, like that, how connected we are to earth. And your union that you're creating with this triad of powerful ladies on Thursday the 24th at 5 o'clock GMT, just so peeps know, is going to be, I suppose, accessing that in a way. Can you maybe go into that a little about, you've brought through channelings, maybe you want to explore that with people, like what is that for you?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that as well, because so in my cacao ceremonies, I'm actually only hosting with these two sisters because we're going to be together that day anyway. I'm in Stockholm teaching them a massage course. So I'm teaching them tantra massage and cupping massage, which is my other business. And so these are my two students, but they're also really dear sisters. And I have co-created with one of them before in a cacao ceremony, and they're very powerful healers. So I was just like, you know, do you want to just stay after the course and help me? And they were like, yes, they love cacao. One of them is coming with me to Frida. She's coming with me to Galway to assist my retreats in May. She's going to be serving hape, which is another plant medicine.
Yes.
So, and that's a more masculine medicine. And Linda is a big fan of hape too. It's such a balance between the masculine with hape, which is a type of plant that you kind of snort, I guess, is there's probably a more sacred term. And then cacao, which is the more feminine, which you drink in ceremonial space. But yeah, some of the channelings. So this morning, I channeled some messages and things that people might want to know. Very 3D things I asked specifically because usually when I do a cacao ceremony online or in person, it's channeled from start to finish. So 2 to 3 hours, depending on the ceremony. The one on Thursday is 2 hours. And that includes, you know, channel drumming and light language. But a lot of the time, people want to know, you know, the human mind wants to know what's in it for me. What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? You know, all these little facts that I sometimes forget because I've been working with cacao medicine for 2 years now, every day. So I sometimes forget, you know, that these are important questions and information for someone who's new. So one of the most common ones is, you know, what's in it for me? How can cacao help me? And the thing that most sisters and brothers experience after drinking cacao, drinking it just once, but also drinking cacao, working with the medicine regularly, consistently, like with anything else, you don't just, you know, drink some celery juice once and expect it to cure your IBS. You know, it's like a maintenance, and that's the main thing with cacao. It's a medicina. It's a preventative. It's something we take every day for general good well-being. So she promotes the release of certain hormones in the physical body. So we're working with the body. We can, of course, you know, call in cacao spirit, and she's here with us now. I've got cacao medicine here. I've also got cacao, like a big block that I sell. But we can, of course, just, you know, call her in. But when we're talking about the embodied aspect of plant medicine, it's about ingesting the medicine and how she works with the actual physical body, because yes, we're eternal souls, light beings, but we have chosen to experience this life in a human vessel and all of that beauty. And so cacao medicine, she can help us access all the states of bliss that are available to us being in a human body, not just up here in the quantum or in a higher dimension, the angelic realm, but in this actual body. So she releases, so when we ingest cacao, we release serotonin, which makes us happy, anandamide, which is only found in breast milk. So it's, you know, it's makes us really blissful, just like babies after they've had some breast milk, you know, they're really happy. Oxytocin, which is, you know, the same hormone that's released when we're through touch, if you get a massage or have a hug. Dopamine, so this is like a slightly addictive hormone. So it's the hormone that's very present when we've had an orgasm, for example, and that's why cacao is quite it can be addictive. So we have to stick to the dosage requirement. So, for example, a daily dosage is 10 grams, and I've had to have some serious talks with sisters when they've been like, oh, I love cacao, I drink cacao 4 times a day, and I need to buy more cacao. And I'm like, well, I just sent it to you like a month ago. How much cacao? And then, you know, so we have to sit down and go through it. Like they've been drinking a ceremonial dose maybe twice a day, like replace their coffee with cacao maybe, and that's perfectly fine, but we have to stick to the dosage of a 10-gram dosage for daily use. And the last hormone is melatonin. So this is from when when we've been in the sun. It regulates our cycles, our sleep cycles. So all of this is released in the body when we drink cacao, especially regularly, because it is a little bit cumulative too. So it's almost like this: the more we drink the cacao, sticking with the dosage requirements, and always listening to your own body guidance. It's good to have breaks too. It's almost like that you don't need as much cacao to reach these beautiful states, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's my experience. And so the main thing that is quite unique to cacao is it has tryptophan, which makes you feel all like warm and cozy. So it is a beautiful, beautiful medicine, and it's been used for centuries in the Mayan cultures, and they value it as gold, and that's how I value it too. I sell it, so I have right now I think I have about 15 kilos of cacao in my house, and I treat it as gold. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't tell everyone I've got that much cacao in my house. Get some visitors. But it's like it's next to my altar, my children aren't allowed to touch it. It's being charged with energy for when I send it. And it's very valuable to me. Like, for example, it's Linda's birthday on Thursday, and I have some cacao for her. I sell it for €59, including postage, and it's like a present for her. And it's like the biggest thing I could give her. That's how I feel, like the most. Yeah, it sounds a little bit crazy to some people, but it's very sacred to me. I'm like completely devoted to cacao spirit.
Yeah, I love what you said earlier, because I always get that sense with plant medicine. Once we've activated it and talked to that spirit, communed with it, and brought it into the body and the cells, and it's fused with us forever, really, that you don't even need the 10 grams a day kind of a thing, because all you're doing is going, I am of one with cacao almost. Do you ever, is that kind of the sense of what you're kind of sharing with us?
Yeah, because definitely in my ceremonies, there will always be a sister who doesn't have cacao, ceremonial grade cacao. And I'll talk about the difference as well, because that's a common question. And I, along with any other sisters who have ceremonial grade cacao, we share the frequencies of the medicine and with our intention. And that is fine. Like, we can, we're powerful energy workers. We can call any spirit of the light, any energy of the light to work with us. But this is the difference with plant medicine, is that it is that we are ingesting it. And this is like Mother Nature's gift to us, that she wants us to ingest her medicine and absorb it into the body for a more embodied experience, so that it's not just about connecting to the spirit through the energy. It's also the benefits that she has for the physical body. So because this is a problem that many sisters and brothers have on the spiritual path, that very dissociated. We're up here in our identifying only with our consciousness. And we think we're doing really well on our spiritual path, because we're not controlled by the mind anymore. We're super psychic and intuitive, and life is incredible, but we really actually are not very happy with the sacred vessel that we chose. We're trying to get out of it, or we're putting her down, or we're criticizing her, or we're actually mistreating the body by not giving her healthy food or healthy drinks. So this is like part of the plant medicine's teachings, that Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, she's abundant with medicine for us. We just have to choose, and we have free will. And most of us are not choosing completely in alignment. We have free will to choose which of her medicines we can use. And sometimes we will choose the chocolate in the fridge, or the cake, or the crisps. or the alcohol, you know, and that's fine, that's our free choice. But her plant medicine is that she has got so much for us, and we just have to listen to our own body wisdom. What do I need right now? And maybe it's ceremonial grade cacao for the heart, to trust ourselves more, to be in the frequency of abundance and love. Or maybe it's something else like hape, that is much more clearing of fear. Maybe you're going for something different like San Pedro or cactus, or maybe you're not even going for any of those plant medicines that are, you know, a bit stronger. Maybe it's just the celery juice. Maybe your body just needs celery juice to calm the gut. But it's our free choice, and we listen to our own body wisdom. So that's why I don't, you know, market my cacao ceremonies like heavily. Like I'll probably just put one post, and it's grown through word of mouth, because I'm not trying to get as many people as possible to try cacao or buy cacao. It's a heart connection. Is this a plant medicine that is calling to you? She's here for you, but you have your own free choice. And of course, in this particular situation, I am hoping to get more people to come to this ceremony to raise money for the refugees. But again, it's always with this heart connection. And I'm also wanting to respect the space. So I created this cacao ceremony, this very sacred space. It's a temple space. And it's very sacred, not just to me, but also to the sisters that come regularly. So it's like a haven, a sanctuary, and I'm sure Linda would agree. And a lot of the sisters who come regularly, they've even paid, you know, the full price this time. And I see it as, you know, not that they're valuing my time or my gifts, but that they're valuing the sacred space of cacao spirit and this temple space, this feminine energy. Because it is very beautiful, and I'd love to share that with more people.
Oh, it just sounds like such a balm for the heart and the soul, just hearing you speak of it. And I know that whomever is coming and is attracted to this, you'll feel it with your heart. It's a knock on the door of the heart. And right now, I'm sure Niomi, you agree as well, like there's been a lot of heart openings right now. We've been stripped bare in the last couple of months, with what's happening in the world around us, with what we're maybe moving through, with that deeper embodiment aspect as well, that the grief that's been released, the grief that's been triggered, the sorrows, we're moving through the emotions of anger, shame, what have you. We're maybe also feeling the beauty and the bliss that's around us. It's this, maybe people are, I know from experiences of having chats in the last few weeks with some lovely sisters as well, they're feeling sometimes that they're trying to ride that wave, surf that wave as the emotions are being released and purged. We've had the full moon, we're having a lot of Venus energies coming in, divine mother energies rising up again. We're having the equinox yesterday, and it's just leading us deeper and deeper into the heart and opening the heart. Compassion was the first word you used today. Compassion when you heard your friend. And cacao sounds like another aspect of embodiment that brings us into the physical embodiment of compassion in a way as well. Deeper love as within, as without. What's been your own personal experience with using cacao?
Yeah, that's a really beautiful question. It's made me really trust in my own ability to love unconditionally, because well, I've always had like quite a big heart, like loving a bit too much, you know, a bit too intensely, or holding on to the, you know, that person. And also it can be abusive in a way sometimes, like I you know, loved my parents so unconditionally, even though it was not the best, the healthiest childhood. And you know, I still loved so deeply and forgave. But with cacao, and there are so many different types of cacao as well. I've worked with cacao from Peru, and this is what I'm selling right now. Cacao from Mexico and cacao from Guatemala, which is a much more masculine energy, because it's the energies of the land as well, that come through the cacao. So Peru and Mexico is a much more feminine goddess energy. The different cacaos have a different effect. So I can only speak right now about my current experience with cacao, the Peruvian cacao, and it's been for me really having a more courageous heart. So loving without fear. And also using a lot of discernment. So where are my boundaries? When am I loving too much and not receiving, not the equal, but like I'm receiving like things that are in alignment for myself, that benefit me too, and I'm not trained. And this is also with my children as well. Not just loving blindly, but also having because I have an unusual relationship with my children, I guess. Like I see them as fellow star beings. So yes, I'm here, they're guardians as a mother in this life, but they also have a lot to teach me. So people are always like, how do you manage 5 children? But I don't see them as just like children that I have to look after. They're like housemates that I have to pay for. But they're super cute. But I give them cacao every day, and this is another beautiful thing. How who wants cacao? Like who sometimes 1 or 2 will say no, thank you, I don't feel like cacao today, and how it affects them. So my youngest, who's 2, she will all of a sudden she'll after cacao she'll start going around giving everyone kisses, and it's just so cute. And that's like a really obvious cacao. My husband as well, after he's had cacao, he's a lot more like, oh yeah, you're amazing, compliments out of nowhere. But for me, it's been this having a bit of discernment around my heart. So what do I need? Where, can I love fearlessly? Even just being able to voice the expressions of love. So not just loving, but daring to say how I feel. And so yeah, but with cacao medicine, she gives you what you need. So what she'll give me is different to what she'll give you, and it'll be exactly what you need. She's like a big sister. I've never had a big sister, but she's like the perfect big sister. So yeah, it's very, very beautiful. And with the energy, it's super feminine. That's like it's a very feminine spirit. Even the Guatemalan cacao, there's strong encouragement to be, and to just trust, and to be gentle, to be soft, to be brave enough to be vulnerable, to be okay in the spaciousness. So it is a beautiful feminine energy. And with cacao, like I said, different countries have different energies. So the cacao from Peru is soaking up that energy through the roots of the cacao tree from the land. So that when we're drinking this cacao, we always connect to the land, and we also connect to the lineage. So there's this sense of reverence and respect to the people who have brought this cacao to me from the Sacred Valley. This cacao is grown in the Amazon, and it's prepared and processed in the Sacred Valley in Peru, and it's from an indigenous family, an indigenous farm, and they have this connection to cacao for centuries. And by connection, I just mean that they honor cacao medicine as sacred. So they want the cacao to be drunk and used in ceremonial ways. So not just as a drink, instead of tea or coffee. Their wish for anyone who drinks cacao, ceremonial grade, is that you sit in ceremony with others or with yourself, both equally important, and that you have that time to connect to yourself, your feminine energy, the cacao spirit. So it's this this intention, and that's what makes it ceremonial grade cacao. There's a few different things, and I channel them, but one of them is that the intention is that you drink it in ceremony with others or with yourself, so that you have that time every day. Makes a big difference in your day-to-day life and well-being if you can sit in ceremony. Is the way that it's processed, like the whole there's it's handmade, and there's a long step-by-step process. So one of them, I've written it down, is that it's fermented. So not all cacao is fermented, but so the Mexican cacao that I used to sell was not fermented. And this is just different cultures have different preferences and different ways. So it's fermented, roasted, peeled, and then ground into a paste, and then it comes like this. Yeah, so
how do people prepare it, Niomi? Is there a way that you advise people to prepare that when they get the block?
Yeah, so you can, if you're like me and you're quite a busy person, you can cut it up into, single serving. So maybe like a 20 grams. I don't know if you know what 20 grams looks like, but it's usually like around this kind of size, like a Sayoni egg. It's like a like this is like a size of 20 grams. So you can cut it up into 20-gram blocks and put it in a jar. So that's quite a good way. Or you can use a cheese grater and grate it into a powder. So then it's really super easy. 10 grams is a teaspoon. You just take a teaspoon. And then it's really your own preference. So like we said at the beginning, you had turmeric on your finger, and my mum put turmeric on everything. There's no wrong or right way. There are different traditions. And I can share with you what I've used today. For example, I've used a base of almond milk, just a cup of almond milk. I've used 10 grams of ceremonial grade cacao, and then I used turmeric. So just adding whatever feels right, a pinch of turmeric, a pinch of salt. I always use turmeric, cardamom, and cinnamon, because it's almost like a link to my Sri Lankan roots and my Swedish family, because they're so different, but they both use cinnamon and cardamom like everywhere. It's really interesting. And then the turmeric is like a link to my mother. I've also added lion's mane. It's a beautiful mushroom, but you can really add anything. And you don't have to use almond milk. When I do cacao ceremonies here in my yoga studio, it's just here. Thank you. I use hot water and I keep it super simple. Salt, cinnamon, cardamom, and maybe a bit of chili, just because it's cold here in Sweden. And then you whisk it in a pan, and you never let cacao boil. And yeah, it's usually done in about 5-10 minutes. And the actual process of making it, so the whisking, the cutting it up, the adding the ingredients, the whisking, enjoying, being there in the moment with your cauldron. It's part of the ceremony.
Yeah.
You're infusing your energy, your love, your intention, and inviting cacao spirit, because we all have our own access, direct link to cacao spirit. I don't see myself as, a guardian of cacao, or, extra special cacao ceremonialist. This is just, we all have access to these spirits and energies.
Absolutely. It's our birthright. All of this is part of the birthright. And I suppose treating it with that respect that you mentioned, that's all part of us as guardians of Earth as well. It's all connected. I'd love to open up to any questions that people may have as well that might come through. And if there's anything else you'd love to share about cacao, we're open to that, Niomi. Let me know.
Yeah, let me think. I can't even read what I channeled. So, you know, like, yeah, there's something, I guess, that is quite important. Like it's right at the top, and then it starts to become more illegible. But basically, Cacao Medicina, she brings balance and harmony to our connection with the earth. So when you start to work with cacao, drink regularly, you start to really just want to be in nature a lot more. And this is, you know, quite basic medicine, be in nature. Nature heals you, but you start to hear the guidance from her quite directly. For example, she will say to my child, go and hug the tree. And my child knows, you know, I'll say to him, oh, why are you hugging that tree? Oh, you know, I just heard I just heard she said, go and hug that tree. So you start to become really in tune with the guidance, and each tree has its own energy for you. So yeah, a lot of her messages for me were like, spend time barefoot on the ground, not just in the summer, do it in the winter too, Niomi. And I was like, no, you know, no, it's cold. And we've got snow for 6 months. We got snow. But she was like, go, just a few minutes, or just a few seconds. And it's all just it's a suggestion and invitation. But so it was very, very strong guidance. And I'm sure Linda would have similar experiences of how Cacao Spirit has guided her to connect with nature. So I've written down some of the things, making earth mandalas. So when you're out in nature, not just, you know, going for a walk and looking at the clouds, but also like picking up things like a child, you know, picking up things that are drawn to you, you're drawn to, and being creative and making a mandala out of it. And then, yeah, hugging trees, lying on the earth. I do this a lot, lying on the earth, even if it's cold. Being naked in nature is one of the highest forms of medicine, I think. Hearing the messages from the weather. This is, you know, this is ancient shamanic wisdom that a lot of us have forgotten, but it's in us all. Yeah. What is the message? Why is it raining now? Instead of complaining about the storm, what is the message for me, for this land? Yeah, dancing, of course, dancing outside, beautiful. It's because I was dancing every day anyway, but Cacao Spirit was like, why don't you dance outside? I was like, yeah, why don't I dance outside? I mean, I've got neighbors, but otherwise, why am I not dancing outside? So yeah, these are some of and the main thing here, it's become like illegible, but I know it says knowing our directions. And so this is one of Cacao's wisdom, that when we're sitting in sacred space with others or with ourselves, we can create sacred space by just knowing our direction. So for example, I've got you on my phone in the east, and just by anchoring ourselves in this present moment and knowing the directions, just knowing one direction is enough. Where's the south, when it's sunniest at midday? Where is the south? Can really help us in a lot of healing. And Cacao Spirit has so many messages like that. It's not just about feeling good and feeling loving, though that's amazing. She has so much wisdom, and I'm learning every day. She has something new every day. Wow. So yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, I know it's really important with cacao to always acknowledge, you know, the indigenous tribes who had this connection with cacao for centuries. Just like, you know, when we're talking about Kalima, we know that it's not just our channeled wisdom. It's also really important to honor the Hindu religion and the tantric teachings and those people and cultures who really worship and are devoted to Kalima. So to always have that sacredness, that acknowledgement, it can just be, you know, from the heart, you know, a thank you. I think it's very important. Otherwise, it's just another commodity and product that we've colonized here in the West.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I love that. I can see some comments coming through, and I'll just have a little look. We have Christine. Good morning, Christine. Welcome.
Hey, Christine. Christine has been to many ceremonies, and it's always such an honor to have her in the space, raising the vibration.
Christine Stroman.
Okay.
Norway.
Christine.
Yeah, Norway. And she's a beautiful soul. I've met her in person in Norway.
I don't know.
Welcome. Maybe you'd like to join Niomi, Christine, as well, in what we're talking about on Thursday. Mairead is here, and she's saying,
Hey,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I love Mairead, and she's been to loads, and she always has amazing downloads. She's a super psychic channel, and at the end of our cacao ceremony, we always share. There's an opportunity to share and light language as well. So it's a very high frequency space, and she brings in her beautiful light language.
She's saying that her partner brought a few kilos home from Ecuador, and he was sweating going through customs. So I hope he got the favorite.
Amazing.
The fact that he's sweating, like, they're not cigarettes. Linda, she says it is a true thank you to connect the heart and soul with one another and to the spirit of Mama Cacao and Gaia. So true, Linda. Olive, she's looking forward to Thursday. She says Niomi's ceremonies are amazing. We've Hazel.
Thank you.
We've Hazel, we've Nuala, welcome. We've Aisling. And Aisling asks a question. She says, why wouldn't you boil it, the cacao?
Yeah, it's a great question. And thank you, Aisling. And I apologize if I haven't told you about this before, because I've sold Aisling a lot of cacao. Yes, we don't boil the cacao just because, just like you don't want to boil vegetables, you prefer to kind of eat them raw or steamed. We don't want to destroy the actual nutrients in the plant medicine. So it's like quite a 3D thing. We just don't want to kill off all the good stuff by boiling it. So we keep it. That's why we're really present. We don't make it and then go off and do something else. Like, I don't know if anyone else does that, but I am quite bad at cooking. I'll put on the stove and then go and get distracted doing something else. With cacao, we're very present, and so we know that it's when it's getting too hot, because it's like starting to be bubble up. So we make it on a low heat. If you're using hot water and you have a kettle, don't let it get to the end. I've got a setting where you can choose 60 degrees or 100 degrees. So it's really important, that part. You don't want to destroy any nutrients. And maybe Linda can add in if there's another reason. I think that's the main reason, like not to destroy. And so, for example, you also don't use normal milk, like dairy products, because that can interfere with how the cacao is actually physically absorbed in the stomach with the receptors and the protein in the dairy. So it's traditionally they just use hot water, and that's not boiled and continuously whisked. I guess this is a way to keep you there. You're continually whisking, and so you're present and you're making sure it's not boiled. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Niomi. And that's a great, for me, new information as well. Colette Duffy has a question. Colette, thank you, welcome. She says, does cacao go out of date? I had bought some ceremonial grade and was unsure how to prepare it. Thank you for your wisdom.
You're so welcome, and thank you for the question. So you can keep cacao for quite a long time. I think it's around 2 years if it's stored properly. So by storing properly is in an airtight container or wrapped in foil. So for example, I sell it like this. It's wrapped in foil, and then it's in like to make it look pretty, so it can keep for a long time, especially if it's been unopened, but if you open it, like I said, you can cut it into blocks and put it in like a jar that will keep for 2 years. And this is a very important message that's coming through. It's part of the humanness to want to save things. keep it for a rainy day, for a special occasion, my birthday, when the guests come over, you know. And that is a very human thing, and it comes from the energy of lack and scarcity. And Mama Cacao is the opposite energy. She's abundant. She literally says, you can have everything. You deserve everything. All the good stuff is here for you. And so it's really normal with, you know, cacao, that someone gets ceremonial grade cacao and it's like, I'll just wait till someone has a cacao ceremony to use it, or I'll just wait till my friend comes over and we'll do that together. And those are both beautiful occasions to do cacao, but also just using it now. You know, you're completely worthy right now on a Tuesday morning to drink cacao by yourself. You and yourself is a very important ceremony. So that's a message that came through. I don't know exactly who it's for, maybe for you, but yeah, you're important enough to sit down for 20 minutes with your soul and drink some ceremonial grade cacao.
Absolutely. You know, it's all about, for me, senses, sensuality, and like you said, embodiment. You know, I had my bath today. I used maireads. That would be a thing that I would have done in the past. I'll keep that now. You know, I used maireads bath salts. I lathered myself in her Venus glow. You know, we need this. We need it. I ceremonial make tea every day and sit and smell and swish it in the mouth, swallow like medicine, everything like that, ritual. And cacao is another form of that. So I love what you're sharing there, Niomi. And it's very much a cultural thing in Ireland, by the way, to do that. So I think that's a good thing that you're mentioning. I laughed when you talked about the boiling, because you said we don't boil vegetables. And I literally have so many memories of eating mushy veg because our family would boil them to death it's an Irish thing. Tell me, girl, you have your grandparents or your mothers would have, and if they were al dente, they weren't cooked. You know, so I think we've moved past that in Ireland a bit, but it was definitely an old like way it would have happened. So yeah, not boiling the cacao would be something to look at for us. Marie, I'm just meeting Marie said she's been boiling hers as well, so this is good information. Very good. Thomasina says, this is touching me on a very deep level, bringing up medicine woman memories. She has tears. Ah, beautiful. Yeah.
So beautiful. And yes, remember that we are all medicine women. Just because we've chosen to be a woman in this lifetime, we're all medicine women. So you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be from a certain place. You don't have to go to a certain country and be trained with a tribe. You don't have to go on a course. You don't have to have all the tools. And you certainly don't have to dress a certain way and, you know, go around saying you're a medicine woman. You know, you can just be, we're all medicine women, and we can be a medicine woman, and we can also be a mum, we can also be sensual, and we can be, you know, working at the pharmacy. I'm just talking about Linda. You know, we can be all of these things together, and that's what Cacao Spirit says. We can be everything. We deserve to be everything. So it's really beautiful. And a lot of my wisdom has come from just channeled information a lot. Of course, I've been working with the medicine, but also when I started drumming, I only started drumming when I met Linda. And so she kind of, you know, activated a lot of my past life wisdom from that past life and other lives that we've had together as sisters, I feel. I started drumming, and I'd never drummed before. I'd had the drum for about a year. I'd just been looking at it, and I didn't feel like I knew what to do. I wasn't qualified to drum. I had to go on a course, even though I'm actually a sound healing practitioner. I can't drum. But then she activated something. We haven't met in real life yet. We're meeting in May. But it was online, and just her presence and her love and her trust in me activated that wisdom. And all of a sudden I was channeling drumming, I knew how to call in the directions, set a sacred space, quite differently to, you know, how I'd heard before. It was more of the Inca and Mayan tradition. So we have this wisdom in us. We've all, if you're here listening to this now and you saw the word cacao or plant medicine and you thought, oh, I will watch this on my Tuesday morning, you definitely have a strong connection. And I invite you to go deeper with that.
So true. Please share this on your pages, by the way, in case anybody else needs to hear this. Maybe it's part of their remembrance as well. Eve is saying the great cacao is such a powerful heart opener. It would be wonderful to use in counseling and therapy as well. It's such a supportive guide.
Yeah, do you know who it's really good for? It's so good for brothers. Oh my goodness, Mary. You know, I give it to all the men I know, and something switches, something unravels. It's so beautiful. It's incredible. So I invite you, if you have cacao, I know Olive has cacao, Ashleen, Mairead has a lot of Ecuadorian cacao, to make it and share it, on a date. It's beautiful with for a brother, because often men are very closed here. That it's ingrained in them so young to be tough and to not cry, not to show weakness. And cacao works just like this. She's like, finally, I've got you. I'm gonna just cover you in love. Especially if there's a sister, holding space, like Mairead would for her beautiful man, and they're probably already very, heart opened with them, but it's another layer. It's being open with themselves, being able to connect with themselves, their soul, their whole vulnerable self. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm on like a mission to spread cacao to all the brothers in Sweden. And it's going quite well. It's going quite well. So yeah, it's powerful medicine.
The brother circles. I mean, that's gonna explode, I feel, in the next few years, the brother circles. I have cacao coming from you, I know, so I'll be doing this now with my hubby, because I hadn't really even thought about doing it before with him, as something that we could do together, a sacred ceremony together. So thank you for that. Yeah, that needs to be said out loud. Yeah. Wonderful. Ooh. Linda says, I was thinking the same thing. All the veg was boiled too much. It's definitely an Irish thing. Marina is here. Hello, my lovely Marina, and I'll be seeing you in a very short while. Thomasina, she says that this is so lovely. Ashleen again. From attending Niomi ceremonies with Linda, it inspired me to buy a drum. It was my new best friend, my way of clearing, connecting to myself and my guides. Thank you so much, sisters, she says. Yes, to that, Ashleen, as well. And both of you, I've witnessed you firsthand with the drums and the singing, and how that's grown and expanded. I mean, we don't even know each other. I was going to say, Niomi, I know you a little over a year, but a lot of us in Star Tribes are barely a year together in this space co-creating, and wow, how much expansion has happened. I just want to celebrate that for a moment as well. So I was saying, Niomi, if you could bring through, I haven't even said this to you before, if I'm not putting you on the spot, but maybe, a very short transmission, if it's for the heart, if it's for those that need to hear this. Again, this, before I go into it, please know, those of you just joining us, we're speaking about Mama Cacao, okay, Great Spirit Cacao today, because Niomi is holding with a triad, okay, she's part of a triad, on Thursday the 24th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. GMT time, that's 6 to 8 CET, Europe. She's holding a sacred ceremony with 2 other ladies, and so many of us are joining it. But the proceeds of this ceremony, this heart-opening ceremony that she is bringing to us, is all for a friend, a dear, dear friend named Joanna, who is right now living in Warsaw, Poland, and taking in refugees that are displaced from the Ukraine. She is going to the street, she's clothing the children, putting blankets in them, bringing them food, trying to house them, trying to care for them in their trauma, in their pain right now. And these proceeds are going directly into her pocket to help her with that. So it's from one sister to another, from one brother to another sister. We're hearing the call and we are sending these proceeds out. So know that whatever donation you can afford, we will receive it with open arms. Niomi, in the chat box, we have Niomi's PayPal. And if you can send anything at all, it's appreciated. If you love to join this cacao ceremony, know it's 22 euros only this time round. You'll feel it from the heart if it's for you, and you will be received with so much love. Please do share this. If there is somebody else out there that you know has an open heart in this way, would love to be activated with Mama Cacao in this way, please share this with them. This is for a wonderful cause, but it's also a deep ceremonial practice of sacred space, honoring everything that we are bringing into us via the cacao, and honoring each of us in the space from heart to heart, mind to mind, womb to womb. All right, I'm off the soapbox now, Niomi.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love your fire, and thank you so much as well for, you know, for supporting this, because I just sent you a message, like just directly inviting you to come to my ceremony, just like, you know, you donating, and then you shared this with the community, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm beyond grateful. And I also wanted to say that the cacao ceremonies, you know, yes, we work with cacao, but we also use a lot of other very sacred tools for me. And one of them is dance. So there's the opportunity to dance. And I had a sister message me today who's in this community, who said, you know, I can't dance, I have limited mobility and I have some pain. And I explained that dance doesn't have to look a certain way. We often have it in our minds that dance has to be perfect, or means big movements, or has to be beautiful and choreographed. But dance is, it's an expression of the soul. And I am always dancing, often with my hands. I'm just dancing with my hands because I might be sitting down on the train or in the car. And it's also about the energy, expression, and movement. So we, you know, even when we're in stillness, the energy is still moving. So even if you can't dance or you don't want to dance, you're so welcome. And I will also, in all of my ceremonies, I do a sacred dance transmission. So the energy is, you don't have to watch me. I usually don't announce it. It's just, you know, while we're all dancing, the energy is being transmitted and sent, and it is very activating. And as you can see, a lot of light language sisters are coming, and it's like that in my ceremonies. It's usually like if there's, say, 10 sisters, 9 of them speak light language. So it's a really high frequency space, as you know. It's very activating, and you will receive so much. And at the end, I will invite all of the sisters. I hope that, as usual, we've got a larger group today. It's on Thursday, it's close to 30. So I hope the sisters aren't shy, but I invite Linda and Mairead and Olive and Ashley to, as you usually do, offer a light language transmission at the end. And Christine as well, and any other sisters who are coming who speak light language. So it's a co-creation as well, but it's a very beautiful, and it's a very sacred space, and it's the only time it will be 22 euro. It's usually £50 because it is such a sacred space. So yeah, thank you. Shall I bring in a transmission?
Please, we receive.
E anana o tora shi I ai kutu e anana a uehe I a tutu e shiki o we ana mahai o tu e shi e tu e anana ai o sapu uehe ai o no o e shi e sana ma ai o tur e ki ai anana a shur e sitir e uehi ai o no o e shikir e tur e sitir e ki ai no e shor dir titi atutur e shor e anana ai o sor huahi ai anana atur e shiki Ea sisia nono atur eshiki. Wahe anama ashutur. Asiti ay nono eshutur etitir. Wa e kiki ay honor eshatur. Estahi eana ay otur eshiki. Wetiti oratir. Oshuki ay otur. Tututu eshi. Eti otur eshit. Ayotu esana ayotu. Wahi ayotu eshiti. Cacao Spirit says to go outside today, to anchor these codes that have come through both of us, and also the love that is in this space, all of us together, anchoring it down into the land that you're on.
Yandra asoki endi mahasuki etini hatra asukutro okendiati. Undra hasamalieti. Undram drindram drom drindram drom dindra utishtka. Ushkt ashukt ushkt ashkt ishu. Shu shu shu. Trasham ashkt ushu shu shu shu. Rapsakasam shu shu shu. Rapsa shuras. Ups. Ara indri idrima arotu. Indra hamari. I just felt from your beautiful transmission as well, Niomi. And that was the mother energy coming through from the earth, that all hearts are one, partaking in a space like this. Again, that oneness, one. So I just want to thank everybody and you, Niomi, for bringing that to me a little bit more again today. And your energy is just so open and so pure. And I'm grateful for this co-creation with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Ooh, feel so much moving in my throat there. I don't know what anybody else felt, but for me, yeah, big time. Thank you. Breathing. Yeah, breathing.
There's a lot of dragon energy, and really in the cacao ceremonies, when I'm tuning in just before, what energy wants to come through for the healing section, and it's very almost 99% dragon angelic energy together. So I've been weaving them together now.
Yeah.
I really want to support us.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Yeah, and I've that dragon workshop coming up the 9th of April as well. So they spoke of that weaving yesterday, Niomi. I don't know if you caught that live. They were talking about the angelic and the dragon's energy and how they're becoming very close together now. I love the way you weave. Oh, Dana, I suppose that's that feeling of Earth, all frequencies as well. They're going to meet because we're having that convergence happening. It's less a division. So yeah, I like that. Mairead saying, so beautiful. So are you, Mairead. Thank you. Marina, I will see you in a few minutes, my darling. And she's saying, wonderful. Thank you so much. And with that, I feel like we're complete. Is there anything else that needs to be added, Niomi, that we have missed out on, or anything at all? Maybe to say the time and the date again.
It's Thursday, and it's at 6 p.m. Stockholm time. So that's 5 p.m. Ireland time. And yeah, you mentioned the triad quite a few times. So I'm going to just say that it's two other sisters who I'll be hosting the whole ceremony, but they will be with me live. So they'll be kind of like on either side here, but that will be in Stockholm, very, open, because we'll have massaged each other all day. And they will be helping with the healing. So I usually bring in Source Dragon through one hand and the Seraphim energies through the other. And they will also be bringing in Reiki and Dragon or Angelic healing. So it will be very powerful and yeah, very, very beautiful. And it's usually about half an hour of healing. So it's very beautiful. And a lot of sisters receive a lot of downloads or past life memories and gifts. So I'm really, really excited. And there is a replay thanks to Linda Maria Sal, because I wasn't going to be able to record it because, like I said, I'm traveling. I'm using my sister's laptop and Wi-Fi. So I was thinking I won't be able to record it this time. But then Linda said she can co-host all the way from Ireland, and she's going to record it. So it is available just for the people who can't make it. So if you donate, but you know, and you can't make it live, I will send it to you. I'll send it to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Niomi. Wonderful.
I'll send it to you, Mary, as well, because you won't be able to make it live.
I'm going to see, we're traveling that day as well. If I can even pop on for a few minutes via the house or the car, depending where we'll be traveling to, I will do that. But I won't be there for the whole thing. But like that, even being able to catch that energy with our intentions and watching the replay, I understand that energy is quantum, but being there in person is definitely an important thing. So I encourage those that can.
It's very powerful on the replay. And yeah, just for those who haven't come to a cacao ceremony before, just setting up ceremonial space beforehand can be as simple as lighting a candle, making sure you're undisturbed for those 2 hours. That's my only requirement. So my daughter will be in the ceremony, but she will be, you know, like everyone else, on mute, and you know, sitting still. That's why my other children won't be there. But my oldest, she donated 200 crowns, which is 20 euros, and she said she wanted to help the refugees feel safe, which I thought was really, really touched me, and it really touched Joanna as well. She was stunned that a 10-year-old wanted to not just donate but also come to the ceremony. So yeah, so just know that it's 2 hours, it's ceremonial space, so it's really good if you can, you know, stay in that kind of space, not be distracted. Yeah, and it'll be muted until the end. So at the end there's time for people to share light language, because it's a large group. We'll also be sharing in the chat as well, prioritizing light language speakers just so that they can contribute to the vibration and the healing for the others. And it will be like not just healing for those who come, but also sending it to those who are affected by the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. How beautiful. With that, thank you to all you watching and all you to come.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to Niomi and her 2 sisters that would be supporting her on Thursday at 5 p.m. GMT in Adua, in the ceremony of the cacao. We thank all energies that were present here with us today, especially the Divine Mother, which was her nudge for me to get this out there and share it. So thank you for that support as well. And lots of love, my ladies. I hope you receive Odana Yaki and brothers as well. Thank you, Niomi. Mwah, mwah.
Thank you, sister.
Bye, everybody.